Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on. You just keep me hanging on. Hey, it's Nate with another piano tutorial. Today I'm gonna do Perfect Day by Lou Reed. This is one of my favorite songs. I just love the writing. It sounds like kind of a simple, sweet love song, but then there's just a few lyrics that inject this darkness into it that just make it so rich and devastating. The piano part, as played by Mick Ronson, is based on a simple chord progression, but with lots of embellishments and improvisation on top of it. So I'll teach you the core of it, and then while I will go into all those little details, I encourage you not to get too hung up with reproducing the record note for note and instead work on finding some freedom in your playing. And I'll give you some tools to do just that. Let's get into it. Alright, so first off, I recommend getting the chords and lyrics chart. There's a link down in the description that'll help you follow along and see where the words and the chords line up with each other. And let's start out with the intro. Here's the underlying chord progression for that. We're gonna need an F major chord to start, and just note that's middle C there. So in the right hand, I'm doing a F, an A, and that middle C. And then with my left hand, I'm just doing an F, bass note an octave lower. And then we've also got a B flat minor here. So left hand is gonna do a B flat bass note, and we're gonna do an inversion on it in the right hand where our thumb can actually stay on this F. And then we're gonna play a B flat and a D flat up here. And this song is in 6/8 time. So that means that each one of these measures gets 6 counts. You kind of feel it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So heavy accent on 1, medium accent on 4. And actually right off the bat, if you're just gonna kind of do a simple version of playing through the chords of this song, I think hitting the right hand on beat 1 and beat 4 is a good way to go. If that was the case, this intro would sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Now there's a little bit more to the piano part on the recording. Sounds like this. And then that repeats. So on beat 1 of the F, you just strike the chord. And then on beat 4, you do the A and the C together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you go back and forth between that A and C. Then a G and B flat. I'm going to use my second and fourth fingers for there. Then right back to the A and C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then when we go to this B flat chord, actually, I'm not going to hit it. I'm going to just do a downward arpeggio, top, middle, bottom, and the timing on that is 1, 2, 3, and then you kind of hold it. I'm using the sustain pedal here so that the notes all kind of end up ringing together. 1, 2, 3, 4. You just need to lift it for that, otherwise it's going to get muddy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to use the sustain pedal throughout. I'm basically going to hold it down whenever I'm on one chord and just do a quick lift every time the chord changes. If you need help with sustain pedal lift timing, I made a video all about that. Okay, so let's do the verse. Here is the underlying chord progression for the verse, and each verse goes through this whole thing twice. But here we go. So it starts on that B flat minor for a full measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For now, I'm just going to do that simple rhythm hitting on 1 and 4, but then we will go back through and do all the cool little details. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a perfect day. So that's going to an E flat major. So left hand is going to come up and do this E flat bass note here. And then I've got my thumb now on B flat, then middle finger on E flat, and then pinky on G. Perfect day. 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to come up and do this A flat major. It's going to be the exact same shape, so it's an inversion of A flat major as well. Looks like that. So thumb goes to A flat, right hand thumb is on E flat, then A flat, and then C. Drink sangria. Now we go to, well, D flat major, which overall looks like that. D flat here, the D flat, F, and A flat. But every time in the song it goes to the D flat major in this place of the progression, it first does this really kind of dissonant note. We got a tritone interval there just for half the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I think I'm not going to hit the fifth there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're kind of split in half. So that's D flat and G with the D flat bass note, and then just dropping down to D flat and F. Almost there. The next chord is a G flat major. So we're going to come up here to G flat in the left hand, and right hand can do G flat, B flat, and D flat. That's for a measure. Again, all these chords are just lasting a measure, or 6 counts. Then we've got this E flat minor 7. Well, it's kind of interesting. You come down to a regular old E flat minor, so that's going to be E flat here, E flat, G flat, and B flat. But when we embellish it, when it goes to that, it then goes. So it kind of ends up implying the whole E flat minor 7 chord. And then we're going to land on F major. And so this is an inversion. We played F like this before. If you invert it once, it's like that. Invert it twice, it's like this. So that's F in the left hand, C, F, and A. I'm going to be talking about these F inversions in a sec because you're going to need those if you want to play like Mick Ronson does. I'm just going to play and sing through this one more time before we get into the details. And you can do all of the verses in the song just like this if you want to keep it simple. Just a perfect day. Drink sangria in the park. Then later, when it gets dark, we go home. Cool. And I just want to note, in many songs, I'm very picky about which fingers get used for the left-hand bass notes, but there's so much movement around in this, and it's slow enough that you just kind of float around whichever finger feels good. I probably won't do it the same way every time. You can find what feels good. I'm not going to trace back through this verse with all the little details. The details are different in every verse. I'm not going to go through every single one, but I'm going to dive in here as a springboard so you can kind of see the sort of stuff you're going to do throughout the song. First off, when you land on that B flat minor, you kind of strum it upwards. So like bottom, middle, top. Just a perfect day. So when you hit this E flat major chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On beats 4, 5, and 6, you can just kind of do an arpeggio. Bottom, top, middle. That sort of thing, just playing right on the counts on the individual notes of the chords can happen throughout the song. Sometimes you could just go up. Sometimes you go back and forth. That's what he happens to do right there. And then up to the A flat major. Drink sangria. So this time it's similar, but you actually start the rhythm a little earlier on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So bottom, and then start at the top and go down. So drink sangria in the park. This part is just like we did it before. And then later. So for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, downward arpeggio. Then later, when it gets dark, we go. So same downward arpeggio with the G flat major chord notes. That's why I'm doing 1, 2, and 3 for my fingers on the E flat minor chord, so that pinky's accessible for that. We go home. So all these F spots where you have the 2 measures of F at the end of the verses, they're all different, and they're all based on playing around with different inversions of Fs and doing different rhythms and arpeggios. So you can totally, if you're not comfortable moving through inversions, you could just pick one, like the one that we learned for this, and do maybe back and forth like that. You can, do arpeggios on that same shape. But I'll show you exactly what they happen to do on this time. And then home, 2, 3 on beat 4. Hit your thumb down. 4, 5, 6. Then up to this inversion, an octave higher than what you were. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go to an inversion that is A, C, F. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're dividing the beat in half there to get a faster rhythm. 5 and 6. The reason why Mick Ronson was able to come up with these really cool piano parts and have them be different every time and kind of fresh to the ear is he's clearly spent a lot of time practicing inversions. Just exercises like this where you get to know how to move around freely with inversions, get it in your muscle memory. My course Piano Chord Breakthroughs works on that quite a bit, as well as lots of other little tricks to make the kind of decorations you're hearing in the song. So definitely recommend checking that out. But you could just practice stepping up and down these F inversions to get some fluidity with it. And then when you perform this song, you can kind of do it differently every time, whatever you're feeling, maybe come up with some cool, catchy ideas that were not played on the recording. So that's halfway through the first verse. It goes around that progression again with different words, and there's a little bit more to the piano part that time. We have this really nice melody that comes in. So I'll show you that as well. Just a perfect day. So this time it does do an arpeggio on the B flat. The first time we just held it, and we do the bottom, middle, top, perfect day. And here's where the melody starts. This is what it's going to sound like. So really cool. So after the just a perfect day, the melody starts while you're still kind of on this E flat major chord. That's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go up to this B flat on 4, cross my thumb under on beat 5, and then beat 6. I'm going to come up to this D flat, 4, 5, 6, and then there's this little trill. Da-da-dum. You can skip that if you don't have the finger speed. If you want to develop that, there's plenty of videos on YouTube about practice for trills. But we got da-da-da, just back and forth really quick between the C and the D flat. And then you kind of land back on C. When you hit the A flat, we have another C here, and I'm going to move my hand to put my pinky on it to set up for the next thing. So that's 1, 2, 3 on beat 4. That's where I put my pinky here. 4, 5, 6. So just kind of stepping down these notes, B flat, A flat, 4, 5, 6. Now that's where we land on the D flat, and we're going to hit that cool dissonant note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like we were doing before. But there's this little da da da. If you want to throw that into up to A flat, back to G, down to F, da 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 da. Let me do all of that one more time. This is probably the most complicated part of the song. Just a perfect day. Feed animals in the zoo. Then the rest of this is pretty similar. Then later, a movie too. And then home. So on that E flat minor 7, that time they don't actually do the arpeggio. They kind of go back and forth between those shapes as chords. You don't have to do this exactly. And then home. This time, this one's a little different. And then home, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to bring your thumb up to C here, and that's going to get you ready to hit this same inversion, but an octave up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, and then just jump up 4, 5, 6. So an octave up. So this one you can do all that same inversion. And then we're in the chorus, so let's do that now. So here are the underlying chords for the chorus, and throughout this chorus, I'm gonna do left hand octaves for the bass notes. If that's too much of a stretch, you can still do single bass notes. I just might move an octave lower to get more power out of it. So first chord out is gonna be this B flat major chord, really similar to the B flat minor, but we've got a D natural instead of the D flat. So, oh, it's such a... What I just did there is the pattern you're gonna do throughout, where you do 1, 2, 3, 4 on beat 4, just move that exact same shape, whatever shape you've got for the chord, up an octave. Such a... Now we're gonna go to the E flat major. Same inversion, same voicing as we've done before, just we're adding the octaves. perfect day. Now we're gonna go to a D minor chord. That's the first time this has showed up. I'm glad. So D, of course, for the bass note here, and then A, D, and F, and we're gonna do that same thing. I'm glad I spent it with, right back to that E flat, you. This time we're not gonna jump up the octave because we have this cool. So I just have that in parentheses, this little E flat, D, C on our way back down to B flat to start the next line. Dun, dun, dun. And that's 4, 5, 6. But to get it to sound just like the recording, you're gonna harmonize each one of those notes with a third higher. So E flat and G, I'm using third and fifth finger. D and F, I'm using second and fourth finger. C and E flat, first and third finger, and then, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Yeah, sounds really cool. So we're in this next line. 1, 2, 3. Oh, such a perfect day. So now we're doing F. This is the same voicing we had done at the end of the verse. Perfect day. Same pattern there with the octave jump. Then you just keep me hanging on. So a couple new chords here. We've got this G minor. We're doing an inversion on that. That's D, G, and B flat. And then octaves here, of course. We're going to step down to that F, the same shape we've been using, and then to the E flat, the same shape we've been using. G minor and F are in the same measure there, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. You just, now we're going to go an octave lower, and we're going to just play the thirds. So a third above where this note is going to be keep me hanging on. So as you do the bass notes here with the octaves, we're doing B flat, A, G. And if you want to get fancy, it sounds like this. You just keep me hanging on. So just as fast as you can do it, grace notes. G, A, B flat. You just keep me hanging, and then leading into the last one, da da da. So B flat, A, G, and then when you land there at the end of the chorus, you're just on that for 2 measures, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just let it hang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're in the next verse. I'll just slowly talk through this next verse. I'm not going to be quite as picky with getting it exactly to the recording, but there's a couple details worth mentioning. So we land in this next verse. Just a perfect day. Still just kind of doing those arpeggios on 4, 5, 6, up to problems all left alone. This time it's just the simple da, da. There's this one-off thing that happens to here. Left alone. Weekenders, going into Weekenders on the G flat, there's this little ba, 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 and it gets powerful. So I'm going to do octaves there. D flat, B flat, and then land in that G flat chord, but with the low octaves. Timing on that is problems all left alone. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, Weekenders. We're going to get rid of the octaves and just do the gentle on our own. It's such fun. This time it does such fun. 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 on just a root position. F, 4, and 5, 6. Same rhythm up here. 1 and 2, 3. Then go up to a really high inversion up here and do and 4 and 5, 6. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. 1 and 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6. Then we're in the last time we go through a verse progression in this song. Just a perfect day. Same as before. And then we're going to just land up here. And then we do Weekenders on our own. So it's the same melody we did before with the little trill if you can do it, but it doesn't do the whole It just comes in on beat 4 when we're in the A flat measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down, down, up to this just like before, except for the rhythm's a little different. Here you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. And then this last F inversion section, this time there's no arpeggio work. It's just a lot of leaping around chords. 1, 2, 3. You can come up to the exact same shape up here. Then you're going to do the exact same shape up here again. And then if you want, kind of quickly at the end, you can come down to root position here and then down like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you can just play around however you like. So after that, we've got another chorus. It's basically the same as we played the first chorus. Notice at the end of that chorus, there's only one measure of E flat. It doesn't just hold it like the last one. And we're going to go kind of right into the instrumental sections. So from the last line of that chorus, you just keep me hanging on, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's the instrumental section. This is the underlying chords. There are, I think, 2 layers of piano on the recording. One is going, and then, of course, there's the layer that has the octave melody. I don't have 3 hands, unfortunately. So I think what I'm going to do is do chords in the left hand and then do the melody in the right. We'll just be kind of missing out on some bass notes, but I think it still sounds pretty cool. So for the left hand, I'm going to do root position chords here so we hear the bass, the root of the chord as the lowest note. So for the G minor, you're going to do G, B flat, and D. For the F, just F, A, C, and then E flat, G, B flat. And probably the easiest thing to do for the rhythm would just be to play on every count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know I have that measure just written as E flat, but you do kind of sneak up on the very last count, beat 6, on your way back up to G minor. You can hit an F. For many of you, just playing the melody on single notes will be easiest. Maybe use your third finger on the D, and it's going to be D, D, C, D, C, D, D, C, D, C, D, C, B flat, C, B flat, C. Timing there would be 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, dun, da, da, da. And then you can do octaves if your hand will stretch. You can do. And it does that 3 times. After the 3rd time, you're going to land in the outro. So let's talk about the outro. Here is the underlying chord progression for that. It's mostly going to be arpeggios playing it, but let's sketch out the chords, which it could be a good way to do it anyway. So D minor over A. This is an inversion of D minor. We've got F, A, and D, and then we're doing an A bass note. And that's going to be for a measure 1, 2, 3. You're going to reap. So A flat major, we've been doing A flat like that. This is a root position, A flat, C, and E flat. Going down to this A flat bass note. Just what you sow. Same E flat we've been doing all along. And we're even going to do that 4, 5, 6, 1. Exact same way we did it in the chorus, but we're just using single bass notes here. 4, 5, 6, and then landing on B flat major the way we were doing it in the chorus for a measure. So again, you're going to reap just what you sow. But like I said, there is a lot of arpeggio stuff going on. A lot of just kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can do that bottom, middle, top, but you can switch it up throughout a little bit if you like. 1, 2, 3, 4. So no arpeggio on that one. And then on the B flats, there's a little bit more going on. This is the melody that usually gets played here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just stepping down D, C, B flat, and then hitting the A when you're hitting the measure with the next D minor over A, because this just repeats around a bunch of times, 6 times total, 4 of which have the words with it. So 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you can hit that F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So hitting on beat 3 a lot of the time too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it sounds better to you, you could also add the octaves there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on the third time through, it does do a trill. Da, 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 ba, da, 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 da. So instead of just landing on the A there, you could just go back and forth. You're going to reap just what you sow. And that was the last time with words. So we're going to go through 2 more times. This time, it doesn't do that melody. It just kind of goes da, 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 just kind of skipping down the chord. And then, again, all this is optional. It starts doing this kind of double time 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 6. Just you can kind of play around with a little bit of faster arpeggio there. And then by the time you get here, it stops doing that. And then this is the last time we're on that B flat before the song ends on the next B flat. That one does have the trill. Now, we're just going to end on that B flat, hold it out, and the song is over. All right. Thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to do a full playthrough of the song so you can see how all those parts fit together. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Have a poke around, see what other songs you might want to learn. Also, hit the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this. Finally, if there's a song you're dying to learn, leave a request in the comments. All right, here's my version of Perfect Day. Just a perfect day. Drink sangria in the park. Then later, when it gets dark, we go home. Just a perfect day. Feed animals in the zoo. Then later, a movie too, and then home. Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on. You just keep me hanging on. Just a perfect day. Problems all left alone. Weekenders on our own, it's such fun. Just a perfect day. You made me forget myself. I thought I was someone else, someone good. Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on. You just keep me hanging on. You're going to reap just what you sow. You're going to reap just what you sow. You're going to reap just what you sow. You're going to reap just what you sow.